Hello, my name is Burnette Jackson, and my cross-curricular unit is on changing seasons. I chose changing seasons because everybody are affected by the seasons. So I thought it was an important unit to talk about or teach. Okay, my objective for this cross-curricular unit um, is for my students to understand why we have seasons and why they change. To start our unit off, we will use a KWL chart on the overhead projector, and we will list things we already know about the seasons, such as we know we have 4 seasons, and what are they? Winter, spring, summer, fall. Then we will list things that we want to know about the seasons, such as why do we have seasons and why do they change, and what causes them to change. Well, seasons change because of our Earth axis, which is tilted as it revolves around the sun. And then we will jot down what we've learned as we go through and find out more about the seasons. Basically, what we've learned is that our seasons, we have seasons due to the fact that our Earth axis is tilted, and as it revolves around the sun, um, that causes us to have the seasons and have the changings in the seasons. So we know that when the earth is near the sun, we have summer. When it's far away from the sun, we have winter. And when it's in between and warm, we have spring. And when it's in between and cool, we have fall. To help my students understand that better, we will read a book called Changing Seasons by Sion Smith. Um, it's a very good book explaining um, the reason we have the seasons and why the seasons change. And once we read our book, before we read the book, I will do a think aloud and have my students observe the cover of the book to see if they can predict what the book is about, and if they can tell me a little bit about any of the seasons, any of the 4 seasons, winter, spring, summer, or fall, what they already know, what they want to know about that season, and at the end of the story, we'll find out what they have learned about the 4 seasons and why we have seasons and why seasons change. Okay. And after we complete our story and answer questions, we will make a seasonal wheel, which looks like this. There's the wheel, and my students will cut it out, and they will cut the little part out for the window, and we will take the other part of the wheel and we will cut it out, and they will paste it on pre-cut circles from poster boards, and then we will take a brad and we will stick it right in the center of the wheel here. And once they complete the wheel, we will take it and we will turn it, and we will talk about each of the different seasons. And to go along with that activity, I have prepared some flashcards, my own flashcards, and each one is of each season. This one here is winter, and we will talk about with the students. I will talk about the bare tree, the dark blue sky, the snow on the ground, and some of the things you can do during the winter. We will discuss that. This is my winter flashcard. My next flashcard we will talk about, we will turn the wheel to spring. And then we will talk about the changes we see in the spring. We'll talk about how the bare tree went to a tree that have budded out, have little buds on the tree, and what these little buds will turn into. And we'll talk about the green grass and how the flowers are blooming, and the dark blue skies, and the rain, the weather. We'll talk about insects that we see during the spring. Okay. And my next flashcard to help go along with the wheel, we'll turn the wheel to summer, and we'll talk about what we see during the summer. We'll talk about how the buds ended up growing into lots and lots of leaves and the tree is all filled, all full, and just green and pretty. And we'll talk about the heat, how hot it is during the summer months. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the difference of how the tree have really changed. And then my next flashcard, I'll have my students turn their wheel to fall. And we'll talk about the how beautiful the leaves are during the fall. We'll talk about the fall colors like yellow, green, red, brown, all those pretty colors we see on the trees of the leaves falling during the fall. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk about some of the things we see during the fall, such as pumpkins and squirrels and acorns. We will discuss how the trees have changed during the 4 seasons. And once we're done with our flashcards, we will then complete a worksheet on seasonal change, and just to reinforce what we're learning, and we will complete that and see how well my students do, to make sure they understand how seasons change and what events occur during those different seasons. So they will take a worksheet like this, and they will cut the little pictures out at the bottom, and they will place them. Each event they're going to place in, whether it's happening in the spring, the summer, or the fall. And once we're done with our worksheet, then we will start working in our learner activities. We will, in science, we will go on a walk, and we will collect leaves and come back and sort the leaves and make a chart and see how many leaves of what color we collected. How many red leaves we collected, how many yellow leaves we collected, how many brown leaves we collected, how many green leaves we collected, and so forth. For our language arts, we will focus on our word wall. We will add more words to our word wall. Right now, we have seasons. We have the temperatures like cold, hot, warm, cool. We will add more words to it, and then the words that we add, we will go and we will write simple sentences using those words about seasons, and then we will read a short poem on seasons. And for our math, we will play a matching game via the computer to have the students, they will play a game where they will match, almost like the worksheet that they completed earlier. They will match the pictures with the correct seasons, just to reinforce, just to see how much they know about seasons and the seasons and why seasons change, and how we have to adapt to the changes in the seasons. For instance, like if it's cold outside, We're not going to go outside without a coat, or if it's hot outside, we're not going to put a coat on and go outside in the heat. So just to make sure that they understand the um, the concept. And um, then after we complete the game on the computer, then we will come back to our tables, and we will make a seasonal booklet. And in our booklet, what it'll be construction paper folded into a booklet with four sheets of white paper. And what I will have my class do, I will have them draw whatever activities they think happens in the fall, whatever activities they think or events happen in the summer, in the winter, and in the spring, just to make sure that they have a clear understanding of our seasons and why we have seasons and why they change. Okay, and that's my unit, my cross curricular unit. And thank you so much for viewing. Goodbye.